every time I see you, you're doing push-ups somewhere.
I just ran across the office and jumped over a couch. There were a couple young women there, and I just jumped over the couch.
I believe it. Well, I appreciate you being on so much today and sharing. And we're going to record for people who weren't able to be on, but those of you that are, hopefully we'll have a few seconds for you to ask some questions. So, okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, Mike, I guess let's just start with with you telling them, sorry, I'm getting a lot of feedback noise, so let's start with you sharing with them just a little bit of your background. I got to hear your story in Florida, and I just thought it was so great, and I wanted them to be able to hear it too.
So, hello, everyone. I am Mike McCann, the real estate man, and I love real estate. So my background from prior to real estate, or real estate background?
Will you just talk about the vacuum sales and then go into real estate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't know what entrepreneurship was. So I've been working since I was 10 because I wanted a mini bike. Okay. So I had to get my own mini bike. So I learned the value of hard work and rewards and doing it myself. And then I worked jobs, and I was in the restaurant business. And then in 1979, that was the restaurant business through high school, working 33 hours a week. And I used to say to my mom, I wish I had a job where the more you can make, the harder you work, the more you can make, because I was always working harder than everybody. And that was good, but I was making the same amount. And then I graduated high school. I was going to go to college, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I bailed on college, and I took a job at the city. And that job was in the sewers. So my first year out of high school, I got a real man's job for $4.50 an hour in the sewers. 79 interest rates went up to 21%. The economy collapsed. That job went down. Everybody's jobs went down. There were no jobs in the country. Inflation was double digits. It was insane. We thought it was the end of America. I was 19 years old. We really did. Soviet Union is taking over. They're burning our flag in Iran. It was a horrible time. Jobs were being lost. All the steel mills, the car, everything. So I'm looking for a job. I get a phone call, and this guy says, come to Jersey and you have an interview. I told my mom, I'm going to Jersey for an interview. Guy shows me this movie, and it talks about the American dream, and it talks about the harder you work, the luckier you can get, and the more you can make. And it's showing me yachts and fancy houses and all this stuff. So I'm sold. At the end of that movie was a vacuum cleaner that did 33 different things and cost $644. I believed that vision, that I was meant to be here on this Saturday in August, on a job interview. Someone showed me the American dream, that in my mind, it didn't matter. I was going to do this. I didn't know it was vacuum. So the guy comes in the room and says, yeah, you can start on Monday. We have training. So we go to training on Monday, and he says, there are 25 of you in this room. By the end of the week, there will be 3. By the end of the month, there'll probably be none of you. He's there. And then he tells me his story. And his story was first generation from Holocaust escapees, and how he was putting his way through college, and he sold vacuums to do that. And he became a multimillionaire, and he talked about and so this guy was like my age now. And I'm in that class, and I'm said, you know what? I am going to be James B. Marion III. I am going to do this. So I sold vacuums for 3.5 years, door to door, $644 vacuums. Interest rates were 21%, while people were losing their houses. It was a crazy time. And guess what? I made more than my father, who was a college professor at 20 years old, made $35,000 a year in 1979. But I was working all kinds of hours. But the bottom line is, that's taught me how to talk to people. And James B. Marion, all the visions, all the things that I believe in today worked for me in real estate when I got into real estate. And I'll shut up in 1 second on that, but So every morning we would show up at 8:30, we would play music, or 8 o'clock, you play music at 8:30, we'd have a meeting, and you had to be accountability. And then he would chew you up or chew you up or build you up, depending on what you did the previous day, how many appointments you had. And every day we had to go in, we sang these songs, we did this pep rally. I could still sing those Kirby songs. I could. And then we'd grab our $640 vacuum cleaner and we'd go hit the streets. And we'd knock, and I would work till 9 or 10 o'clock at night, selling vacuums door to door. And I believed in it and I loved it. And then long story why that worked out for 3.5 years. And then it didn't. And then I got back into the hotel business because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And actually, I opened up my own Kirby vacuum cleaner with a partner, and he ended up taking advantage of me because I was only 21. But all the things that James B. Marion taught me, never, never, never give up. The harder you work, the luckier you can get. Today, I say the smarter you work, the luckier you can get. Patient persistence overcomes resistance. Can't means won't. If he can do it, I can do it. Never, never, never give up. If you come into my office, I have a framed picture of a person driving a motorcycle on this beautiful road, the beautiful scenery, because I do love Harleys. But it has all my slogans on there that all my team signed and gave me this poster with all the Mike McCannisms, as we call it. About 1985, interest rates started to drop down from 21% to 14%. So my friends started to invest in real estate. And they said, come on, Michael, we're going to buy real estate. I said, I'm working 90 hours a week at the Hilton. I was the second highest paid at the Hilton because I picked up 3 jobs. I was doing 3 jobs. But I'm like, guys, I don't work for my parents. They both work for their parents. I'm like, I don't have your money. I can't buy real estate. My friend said, shut up, just take the course, Michael. So I took the course. And when I went in that course at Temple Real Estate University, walked in, and in 30 seconds, I said, oh my God, you can make a commission selling real estate. So that's how I got into real estate in 1986. 85, the class was 1986 was when I started. And I'm going to go real quick. Sorry. And then
this is great.
So I knew right away that's what I was going to do. And just like when I saw the video from the vacuum thing, I knew I was going to succeed no matter what. If that was real, I was going to do it. So I went in there and I'm like, you can make a commission. And I'm looking around. I'm like, you know what? If she can do it, I can do it. And I'm looking around when I started to meet real estate. I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it. All James B. Marion thoughts. Because James B. Marion would say, Mike, the person would come up front and they'd say they had a sale the day before. They'd say, is this guy any better looking than you? Is this guy smarter than you? Is this guy stronger than you? If he can do it, you can do it. So that's my mindset all the time. I look at the best people in the industry and I think, you know what? If that's something that I want, if they can do it, I can do it. Maybe I'll have to work harder. Who cares? I'll do it, man. So when I got out of that class, that real estate, I didn't know it. I took a job with my friend's buddy who did property management. So they didn't even sell real estate. He put me in the basement of a house and he said, you can make a lot of money selling real estate. He gave me a phone and a Kohl's book. And so I didn't know what to do. So I just started calling. So then I thought, let me hit the streets. So I started handing out flyers door to door. And then I took classes at Temple, additional classes. I was one of the few people that educated myself. And it took me about 1.5 years for people to even accept the name of this company, accept me into the world at all. I couldn't even get in houses. I was in downtown Philadelphia, historic Philadelphia. So I'm on the verge of this historic neighborhood where it's pretty upscale, and I wasn't born that way. And then the other side is South Philadelphia, where it's like all Italian, and I'm not Italian. So I had resistance getting into both, believe it or not, times were different. People just, who's Mike McCann from Glass Real Estate? Nah, you can't get in, you can't get in. It was crazy. So after 1.5 years, I just didn't give up. So 1988, I was the #1 agent in the city with 90 transactions, working at Stephen Glass Real Estate. Then all of a sudden, everybody wanted me. And I, of course, I didn't leave because I have loyalty. And what that was from just door to door,
Yeah.
taking renters, converting them to first-time buyers, FHA maximum financing. You know, my average price was like $40,000 back then, but I get their friends, their brothers, their cousins, so just networking. But what I did was 3 things, and I will tell any new agent this, I tell them all. 3 things that I did that I realized right away that is still true today. I said, I want to become the most knowledgeable agent in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. So I read every book. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have Keller World. We had none of this. I read every book. I went to the National Association of Realtors conventions. I went to the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors. I went to everything. I volunteered at the board. So I've become the most knowledgeable. And I thought, wow, everybody cooperates. So I decided I was going to have the best reputation in the marketplace.
Yeah.
Not just with clients, but with the real estate community. So I would help agents, even though I'm newer, I would help them. So we work together. So people love doing transactions with me because I help them. So become the most knowledgeable, have the best reputation. And then I used to say work the hardest. Now I say work the hardest and the smartest. Those 3 fundamentals, if you do that, you will succeed. And real estate is the greatest business in the history of the world. I was just coaching a young man here who's like 2-3 years in the business, and he's doing really good. And I'm like, you know, it's funny. I have a high school education. I would have been lucky if I had a $60,000 or an $80,000 a year job, you know. And he was laughing because he's African American. He's like 28. It's his 2nd year in the business. He made $150,000 this year. He said, Mike, I'd be lucky if I made 40,000. I said, no, but he's not cut. But he's doing everything that I told him to do. He's sitting his open house. So new agents, what do I tell them to do? I say, yes, build your database, all that stuff, but sit open houses, work rentals. That's what I did in the beginning, and make phone calls and go to, not whether it's door knocking or handing out stuff. I didn't door knock. I would hand out flyers, open house today or stuff like that. I would hand out flyers. So I'm going to stop from there. And you can ask me any questions.
Okay. So Mike, this is really great, especially for people who are newer. And we have a lot of top producers on too, that I know want to hear some detailed about team building things that we're going to get to. What advice though would you give? Like, I feel personally like a lot of agents hear the word lead generate and they like freak out. They're out, like they don't want to sit on the phones all day. They don't want to door knock. They don't want to do those things. And in the last, 3 to 5 years, we've been in a speed-based market, and they might not have had to, but now going into a changing market, I mean, it sounds like you learned that from the get-go in other things that you had, but what advice would you give to agents just in regards to getting in the habit of lead generating, especially moving into what we're moving into?
It's a big buzzword. It's leads to live. That is it. So to be very candid, even though I was a door-to-door vacuum salesman, I never want to, I always had pride. I never want to ask people for business. My business has always been attraction. So what I mean by that is that people call me. So to me, what did I do? Early on, I got a unique marketing position. Again, when I'm in, there was no such thing as teams, right? Brokers only paid you 50-50. The brokers will do. But I got Mike McCann, the real estate man. Okay. That changed. So I had a unique marketing position. That's one thing. 2 is I under-promised and over-delivered for my clients. And so they would automatically refer me. So that's that. And then I would just sit my open houses. So I did I lead generated then and now. I'll talk about a couple of those. Is I lead generated through mailings. Yeah. First it was handouts and then it was mailings. I actually was invested in I had a website in 1992 before I was with Prudential, before they even had a website. So I invested in I was always ahead of the curve. Yeah. So today it's totally different. My life changed a lot with the Keller World. We did over $500 million last year. Yeah. Now I have 2 ISAs. I didn't even know what ISA meant 2 years ago, right? 3 years ago. I didn't even know so I have to ISA. I'll tell you a couple of things that changed me in 08 or 09. Facebook came on pretty big, and people, you got to do that. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. By 10, I started Facebook. That blew my business up because people got to know who Mike McCann was.
Yeah.
So people had this perception that my sign was all over, and this guy's probably some pompous idiot, because he's all over the place. He probably thinks he's this. They got to see me, and they're like, "Oh my God, my business blew up." So I love Facebook. It is still the number one social media in Philly. All the young people are on Instagram, but Facebook is still number one. I'm on Instagram also. Now we're doing I just set up a TikTok station, and I'm doing reels and all that stuff. So social media is blowing up big time.
Yeah.
You need to that's big time. But my current business right now is a ton of referrals and a ton of mailings. I do 14,000 mailings every other month.
I was going to ask you how many mailings. Okay. Yeah.
About 14,000 every other month. And I've been doing that for 15 years. But 15 years ago, it was 500, then 1,000. Then in 08, when the market collapsed, I was doing 3,000. And so Mike McCann, this is Mike McCann. I didn't cut back. I had saved my money. I tripled that to 9,000 in 08, 09, when everybody else was cutting back.
That's what Gary says, Mike. Gary always says that. He says when everybody else is cutting back, like save so that when everybody else is cutting back, you can come out with the bang because nobody else is doing it.
Absolutely. And I've been through 5 downturns, and every one. So maybe that the first year that downturn, my income went down. That next year, my income went up. And then as the market picked back up, I went to the whole next level. So you embrace this listen, you embrace this opportunity right now. Those that are strong will survive and prosper. It is tougher. Listen, there was a period of time between 1989, 90 and 94, 5, 70% of my people had to write a check to sell a property. And I'm not talking 30, 50, $200,000 because the market collapsed for about 7 years from 89, 90. I could go into that forever, but the market collapsed. So it was a difficult time. Mike McCann's business, all these big shot agents left the business because they had to work now. They had to, they had to become knowledge based. They had to do something. They left, and Mike McCann's business grew and grew and grew during that downturn. And that's what we're going to do now. So to me, and then the ISA is we started that. Bob Lucido taught us how to do that about a year and a half or 2 ago, almost about a year and a half. And he started going through my ISA. We have an in-house one. Started going through my database, and the ISA. I bought a local person who wants to be a Mike McCann someday. I said, okay, man, just like me, you're going to start out in the basement. Okay. And so he's proven himself to be an ISA. And I probably got 40 or 50 million from my ISA this last year.
Wow.
So he went through my database. I had 10,000 settlements, people that I haven't reached out to forever, and started to call. Hey, this is Dylan from Mike McCann's office. Mike wanted me to, check in on you. And that dramatic. He's been calling when we do a great sale, he calls the block for us. So we just hired a second ISA about 3 or 4 months ago. Never had that before. I love that. So that's been working really good for me. An in-house ISA. They are 3 to 6 months to train and really get up. It's unbelievable.
Mike, is he calling only people in your database, or is he calling any cold numbers that you're buying too? Yeah.
Yeah. So now we have them calling the expireds and the for sale by owners. And just again, that's why we hired a second one. We'll probably hire a third one where he's like, if I get a great listing, we want to call that block. Hey, we're doing an open house this Sunday. So my agents can utilize my ISA. I utilize the ISA. Again, I'm new to Keller, 3.5 years now, but I grew my business on grit, just on grit and reputation. So I never had a 33 touch. I didn't know what a 33 touch was. So we're just finally perfecting that in these last like 4 or 5 months. So we started to do some of it. So I have a great newsletter now, but we have the calls where we have my agents are doing the calls. I'm calling 2 or 3 people a day from my phone.
Love it.
Hey, Joe, I just drove by your house. How's it going? I haven't talked to you for years, but we're getting better. We're getting better. So I am not Joe operations. We're getting so much better from the Keller world. That's why, again, we went from 320 million to over $500 million last year, utilizing what we learned my first year and a half with Keller. And that's through ISAs. That's through doing the 33 touch. I had my first client appreciation party 2.5 years ago. I've been with Keller 3.5 years. 2.5 years ago, my first client appreciation party ever. I had 250 people come. I learned how to have it sponsored. I didn't pay anything. We were on the pier, so that is really what we're promoting right now, but smaller scale ones. You know what I mean? Just different groups of ones. So,
micro events are really in right now. I have 2 questions. The first one, Steve wants to know, do you know how you compensate your ISAs?
Yes, so very openly. So the ISA is a base salary of $25,000.
Okay.
We do charge the agent 15%. Because that's, if they went to a Zillow, they'd have to pay 30 or 40 or whatever that thing is. So 15%, but of that 15%, we give him 7.5. We take 7.5. So it actually, the cost of that ISA is funded from the referrals that we get, and we probably make money off of that.
Oh, that's smart. So if he sets the appointment and the agent goes and closes it, then they pay a 15% out of their portion of the commission. Okay, yes. And then you keep 7.5 and he keeps 7.5.
That is correct. And that's where
that's nice.
And his first year, he made probably about $75,000
Wow.
ISA. And this year he's probably going to do $130,000 because we're giving him a little piece on the new person he's been training. And that's a miracle. This kid he's actually working from home, but he has our DNA. I do hire people that have our DNA. And when I say that, that means, family, business, growth, ethics. Those are the most important. I look at someone when I hire them. Will they be with me a year or 2 or 3 from now? If I don't think that they will, I don't want them. I hire for life. I have a poster in my office that has the Hotel California album framed and signed, and all my agents signed it because there was a joke. It's such a lovely place, but you can never leave. Do you remember that song? Do you know that song?
Yes, I remember. Yep.
So that's what it is. And that's one of the proudest things I will tell you is I have assistants with me 25 years, 22 years, 17 years, agents with me 23 years, 22 years. I hire for life. Very rarely do people leave me, but I do screen them, not in this whole Keller world. What's that thing that you answer all those questions?
KPA.
KPA. I'm sorry, I can only be me, right? But more of a meeting with them a couple times. And the one good thing my mom always told me I was really good at was intuition. Now, assistants, operations, they do the KPA, and my wife or my operations person will handle that one because I'm too easy. But with agents, I just feel them out. But so that's important to me. Hiring for life.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that in Florida when you were speaking, and I remembered that you said you hired them with your DNA, and that you hired them for life. And you did talk a little bit about retention with keeping them. Will you just speak a little bit about that?
Sure. The last thing I want to do is have someone build someone up, and I'm like, it's funny. This is why I love Gary. Like, people don't like Gary is. I was a little tiny Gary in my world, and I fought Keller for years. Never take him. But when I opened my heart to Keller, I'm like, this guy sounds like me. He said that when we were down there the last time, I heard him say, so I think about you guys 24/7. I think about my team 24/7. And if my team isn't doing well, my agents, any one of them, I am not happy, whether it's the lowliest one or the biggest producer. So I think about them every single day, and I want them to do well. So wait, what was your question now, Dave? What was the
Just
question?
like any tips for, I just feel like a lot of teams have a lot of turnover. So any
Yeah.
tips around
Oh, yes.
retention, because to have them for 16, 18, I mean, that's a long time.
And that's, and like my agents, I have an agent right in the room next door to me. He's been with me 23 years. He does 125 million himself, and he has no cap. So I made $400,000 from Jim. He is grateful, but I've given him so many opportunities.
Yeah.
So what I don't want is, I don't want someone that feels they've hit their cap, and to grow, they have to go somewhere else. And so I keep those opportunities going. So we've, in the last 2 years, and again, I always kept people. I've expanded my mind being in the Keller world. So in the last, since I came to Keller, so we have McCann team, which did $500 million, but then I ended up being an OP. I ended up buying out on the main line, which is the most affluent area. And that Keller was not doing well. It was like number 14. We hit number 2 in a year and a half. We're right across the street from Compass. We just bought 14 people over from Compass this month. And
Wow.
we're crushing them. But so what happens then, we started McCann Commercial. We have a McCann Luxury and Mainline McCann. So I have multiple teams. So I have operations people in there. And Gary's the one who taught me when they were saying, you should do a market center. I'm like, I have 25 people. I don't want to do that. And I didn't want to do that. But he taught me how to help more people at a higher level. And so I do that within my team now. So I have people that have more, some are getting equitable interest, the small. I do this to make money, but it's not all about just Mike McCann making money. I want to make sure everybody can do better with me than not with me. So giving them roles and making sure that they are. So we have a couple operations people, a couple people in different divisions doing 2 people are doing our commercial division, 2 people are doing our luxury division. I bought somebody out here at the market center at the main line that's helping me. So I'm growing those people. And some people just want to sell some real estate, and some assistants just want to be their assistants. I still take care of them, but allowing opportunities. I just don't want them to feel they have to leave me to go somewhere else. And I'll invest in them, in what they want to do. I'll listen to them, and I'm like, okay, let's do it. And our commercial division is blowing up. I'm so proud of that. I never wanted to touch that, and I don't touch it, but I support it. And I give my clients to it. So keeping people, we always had the family culture. Before I heard of Keller, I was always family and business. Take care of my people first. Pay them well. I still make way more. I make I build an incredible amount of wealth. So, but whether I make X or Y, it doesn't matter. I like to be more generous. I'd rather be more generous. I don't want to, I die and they distribute my wealth. I want to enjoy that. But it's win-win or go home. So that I used to call it 1 and 1 is 3. And Jim doesn't need me. I don't need Jim, but together we add up to 3, not 2. And if there's some tension in the office, that is nipped in the bud. If there's any cattiness, that is nipped in the bud. Culture. I will tell you, I am really proud because this mainline market center, we went from 30 people to 325.
Yeah, that's incredible. You all have crushed it.
It's a reflection of my team. The energy in here, I have people that have been around 40 years, 30 years. They're like, we've never seen a brokerage like this.
Wow.
So it's the Keller world on steroids, because I'm here every day, which helps that. And the people that are running the Keller world out here have the same goals. We want to grow and expand and have fun and take care of family first. So that
I love that.
Yeah,
it is a mindset. I was just getting ready to say that. And I feel like Linda McKissick has taught me something for the last several years. And it's so true. She says every talented person looks up every 5 years and says, like, what's mine? Where's next? And she said that if you as a leader or entrepreneur, business owner, whatever you want to call it, aren't expanding your opportunities so that you can create more opportunities for those that are already on your team or around you, then that's when people lose people. And I love that you said this, because you've gone out and done luxury, commercial, the market center, blah, blah, blah. Like, you've created multiple opportunities that they can be a part of by being in your world.
Exactly. And I was sitting here talking to one today who's, really growing, and I'm like, and we plan on taking over this after we're ready. One thing I try not to do is I only take on what I know I can focus and conquer and kick butt on. And so like we've been given so many opportunities now, but I'm just not going to do everything. I'm making sure this is up and going. My team has grown, and everybody there is connected. And then we're going to take on another opportunity when we're ready, and I'll bring more people on to support that. And I always tell people, we are not a government job. We are not welfare. We are, what you put in, you're going to get out of, and you have to do it. And we will support you. And that will end up in a great life, because, as difficult as life is, things can happen. We all support each other all the time. I could go on and on and on about each other.
Yeah. So what do you think? Okay, I know we have a lot of people on here who want to have big teams, and some who already have great teams. What would you say is the difference? I don't think I emailed you this question, but now I'm thinking of it. So sorry if I'm putting you on the spot with it. But to do $500 million last year, where was like the switch between that 30, 40, 50 million in production to like $500 million? I feel like people hit a ceiling. A lot of teams hit a ceiling at like that 30, 40, 50, and it's different in every market. But what was like the difference maker for you?
Yeah. So it's funny. That's a really good question. It's funny because I was stuck. It sounds stupid, but I was stuck at like 300 million, which is funny. Like 50
everybody has their different ceiling. Yeah.
So again, why do people come to me? And that's what I look at. What can I bring? And I only bring people that I know I can help them and they can help me. So what do people need? Two things. They need operations and they need leads. My agents, to be candid, never had a fish. Now in this market, since I came to Keller, I'm teaching them how to fish, but I always did all the fishing for them. So I gave them leads and support. That is the two most important things. And it's funny, down at the Keller things these last couple of months, Gary talked a lot, about that. Like, the most important thing is not technology, is nothing. It's leads. Lead. It's not even culture. It's leads. People need leads. So lead. And Keller's doing a lot of good things. And there's so many things out there right now. Like, before it was a lot easier. It was like the old TVs. We only had 3 channels, and then we got UHF. Now there's 1 million channels. So there's so so we start in my office. We started a lead department that now I never used to track my lead. Now I'm tracking my leads. We're checking out new stuff these last 2 years. So leads to live and support. And then they have the mentorship from myself and the other agents that will support them. That's what people need. They need to, and I make people show up. I mean, I want my agents, my staff can have 1 day a week, at home, on Zoom now or whatever at home. But the culture in the office is very important. And then we do a bi-weekly team meeting with a lunch and a thing. We just, and then of course we do some happy hours here and there. So we probably do bi-weekly team meeting. We do probably 7 or 8 or 9 different bowling or stuff like that together. We're going down to Atlantic City this weekend for triple play at some of it. But so just having some things like that, and then there's other people that within our team that are doing small groups. Sometimes we'll take out just the operations people or whatever. So you got to build. It really is. People will work for you for way less money if they feel a value. And I'm not saying pay people less, but it's not about money. Money is not happiness. Once you have money, you find that out. When you don't have money, you think that would be happiness, but it's not. So purpose, value, and I just try to bring the agents in that have the right attitude, that slow and steady growth. I under promise and over deliver. make sure that they get what they need. And that's really like they could text me tonight at 10 o'clock at night and I'll respond.
You're accessible. Yeah. Yeah.
Communication is the key to success. Now, in my world, you must return every phone call, every email, every text, every day, no matter what. And normally I'm 2 minutes to 2 hours. And that doesn't matter. Now that's even with now 300 people at the market center. I love real estate. I love helping people. And you know what? When I walk through this room, I'm like, how you doing? How you doing? And 2 seconds of encouragement can change a person's day.
Yeah.
So anyways, and that's why connecting, you can't get it on Zoom. You can't get it hanging out at your house. So we do have people come in. They're not coming in the way they used to. The agents are still, still out there, but they're in a lot, but not like they used to. The staff is, so anyway.
Can we go back, Mike, to your leads and building the lead department? Because I feel like that's such a big question for a lot of people. Other than referrals, to do $500 million, where are most of your, do you know your top 3 lead sources?
Top, again, referrals. So I have that unfair advantage of being 36 years in the business, right? And I get referrals from people that I don't even know, just from, so it's from referrals, but before I came to Keller, I'm going to admit this, I'm in recovery. I was a ZillowRealtor.com junkie. Okay. So I was spending $1,000 a day on Zillow.
You're not the only one.
Okay. And I still pay. I actually just terminated totally Realtor.com.
Wow.
So I was spending $1,000 a day on Zillow and Realtor.com. Now last year, I think I went down to about 220 or something like that. And then this year, but I am staying in Zillow. But I have sponsors now. I learned how to have sponsors instead of me paying for it all. So that's really good. But those leads stink. In the early days, they were the best in the world. I would own the whole zip code in Realtor.com. It was crazy. Anyway, so the mailings are, as I call, longer term, meaning they're branding. It's like a billboard. Like they're going to keep seeing you. And then when they need you, they're going to remember about you. So I do RSP market every other month. I have a bunch of them here somewhere. But so where else? We do open houses. Listen, if an agent's not doing open houses on Saturday and Sunday and they're newer, I don't want them. Most of my agents, after they're with me 4 or 5 years, they're going to back down on the open houses. But my newer agents are doing them. And then I have 1 million agents in the brokerage that are doing the open houses of all my team's listings. So open houses are key. If you're a brand new agent, that's what you have to do.
I was just talking to somebody yesterday about open houses, Mike, and I was saying when I got licensed in 2006, I worked in open house 5 days a week for the first 4 years I had my license. I never knew any different. And I think we've gotten out of the habit of doing that as much, or we think like, oh, I can maybe do 1 a month. And then people say they don't have success with open houses. And I'm like, well, you really it has to be a priority and you really have to get in the habit of doing them and you have to know how to do them right to convert leads from them.
Yes, we do them here in Philly. We do them. We used to do them just on Sundays. Now we do them Saturdays and Sundays. When I was an agent, I did 3 on Saturdays, on Sundays, 12 to 1, 1:30 to 2:30, and 3 to 4. We're in an urban environment. So I tell agents today, you have to do at least 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. They can only be an hour. That's fine. And you can take 1 weekend a month off. And if you don't want to do that, then you should not get in this business. And like that, because that's where your store is open. What does that do? So that allows me to take that listing, put it on my Instagram, put it on my Facebook, do an email blast. We have an open house system. They sign the names in. So each week that list is growing. Hey, I'll be at this open house this week. Consistent. I would say the last 2 new agents on my team both did $5 million the first year in the business because of from the open houses. $5 million I think I was 5 years before I did $5 million in the business. Like, but it's funny. The third year I did 90 transactions. It was $3.5 million. Which is, can you imagine 90 transactions, $3.5 million? But I was breaking his chops. I'm like, you did 5 million your first year. That was 5 years for me. But open houses, if you're not doing, then we in the summer, the nicer weather, daylight savings time, we'll do twilight open houses,
Right.
like on 5 to 7 on a Thursday or brokers. So open houses, social media right now is really where you got to go. We have 3 social media people now.
Oh,
So
wow. I was going to ask you how many you had running your social
yeah.
media. Okay.
So we have
Okay.
3, 3.5 actually. And so a year ago, 2 years ago, we had 1 person just posted on Facebook and posted on Instagram. Now we have stations for our TikToks, for our Reels, for our Zooms. I'm getting all my agents to do these Reels and these videos, and people are like, well, that's not me. And then they're doing it, and they're like, I'm out at the store, or I'm taking my kids to school, and people are like, I saw your Reel, I love that. They're like, so they're feeling that. We do believe that the shifting market is all social media. And instead of having, I have 7 assistants and 3 social media people. Instead of, like we'll probably have 6 social media people. Like that'll almost match. So that was a position we really didn't even have a couple of years ago. We would just do our own posts. To now, you got to be the best at it. So
Yeah.
Jim's blowing up. He's getting 8,000-9,000 views. So he's really blowing up on TikTok. I get a couple thousand, but
That's great. I love it.
Facebook,
I've been watching
Facebook.
yours. I've been watching yours on Instagram. So
Okay.
I'm seeing you on Instagram too.
So you got
Okay.
to pull up Jim Onesti.
Oh,
Now because he's Onesti. He's the young man who's been with me 23 years. He's only like 44 now, but he has taken it to the whole. And he was always the guy behind me. He's more of an introvert, and he has taken over. His videos are unbelievable. We just had Ryan Serhant come.
I saw that.
Yeah, we did an event with him. But Jim orchestrated all that because he's really grown into that. So that's what's making me proud. And Jim Onesti finally, 2 years ago, did more than me on the team, because I was always a rainmaker. I'm not a team lead. Like I was always a lister and sell, lister mostly. Yeah. So I was still doing 100, 200 transactions. So Jim took over my role, which is great. Where the student, overcomes the master.
That's what you want. That's exactly what you want.
I want dozens of them. So Jim is bringing us up to a whole nother level. I gave him some equity in the McCann team, so great. Like he didn't even ask for it. He said, oh my God, Jim, this is going to be your business if I go. Either my son, my daughter, or you, anyway.
I love it. Okay, I have 3 more questions for you, but I wanted to say I love that you're talking about the video and stuff, because honestly, Mike, it's never been something that you've done in your business before. You said a long time ago, like now you're really focusing on it. And I'm just proud that you are doing that, because I feel like that's what Gary keeps saying. The agents that lose market share in a shift never get it back. And the agents that take market share in a shift will never lose it. And the ones that lose theirs are because they're not willing to do the things. They're not willing to get on TikTok. They're not willing to do Reels on Instagram. They're not willing to work 7 open houses on a weekend. And in a shift, those are the things that you have to do. And I just keep remembering in my mind, Cece Underwood, who we heard on the panel also in Florida, who I did have on a Zoom talk about her TikTok. She's like a big TikToker. And this was her words, not mine. So excuse the language, but she said, my shitty video will be your no video any day of the week. And that's why she does them. Do you remember when she said that? And I was like, that's so true. So just doing it, because you're at least just, even if it's crappy, I mean, you're doing it and somebody else is not.
Totally agree.
I loved when she said that.
Yeah. And no, it's like, and when you like, we had this new woman, Katie, who's, again, I don't know, 24, 25. And she's so into it, and she's so next level than the person we had before. The pay's a little bit more, not crazy more. And man, it's just so fun because we're growing, we're doing something different, and then we're seeing the results of that. And my team has it. So I have probably about almost a dozen agents now that are doing like I promote my team, my agents within my team. It's not just promoting me. And they're really growing and doing that. So yes, that's
I love it.
Yeah. And
okay,
that's
somebody.
That's the Keller word. Learning every day, but you have to watch. There's so much, you could listen to, and if you don't do it. So one of my sayings is be like Nike, just do it.
Yep.
Learn something and focus on it before you go on to the next. Again, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Dave.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think that's so good. Okay, someone asked privately on a message, of the 14,000 mailers that you're doing every other month, are you farming those? Are they farming mailers, or are they to just people in your database, or a mix?
Okay, so they are, it goes to a neighborhood, and it's a fourfold thing that has a picture of a house and me on the front and a few little things. And then you open it up and it tells you what's available for sale and what has sold in that area. So it's something of value that people do like, but that's automatically sent out by RSP every other month. Now, what I did just get from down in Keller and from Listen, Smart Zips. So we just started using Smart Zips. So what Smart Zips is, targets 20%. Well, the people that are most likely to sell. So instead of me, so I'm doing 14,000 to everybody in this neighborhood, right? Or these different neighborhoods. Smart Zips, now we just started this about 2 months ago, where they do these analytics AI that says someone's been in their house 30 years, they're most likely to sell. So we can do a broader range, and so we're more targeting that. And I think that's going to be better.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I don't, some of you may have heard of Smart Zips. I don't know that I've actually ever used that or heard of it.
Yeah. And that might be the name. It's close to that, something like that,
yeah.
But it's tough. So that is, I will tell you, postcard mailings rule. Any agent that I coached that's not on our team that does the mailings has become a dominant player over the last decade or two. So I don't care what anybody says, postcard mailings do work.
Oh yeah. And I heard Gary say, well, I heard the top 100 mastermind probably year before last or last year say that they pulled all their billboards and took everything to direct mail. All of their money that they were spending on billboards and radio, they took to direct mail because people are home more now. They're working from home more. They're in their home post-COVID. During COVID, of course, they were stuck there. But yeah, I totally agree. Everybody is really going back towards direct mail.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I missed one that was up here. Hold on one second. I'm trying to go through. Dion asked, what are 2 things you can do to generate leads in a shifting market? I think one of the ones we talked about is open houses in a huge way.
If you're not doing open houses, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Go sit at a house for an hour and work your iPad and your iPhone if nobody comes. Market that. If you're not sitting open houses, what are you doing? That's what I tell people. It's the number of appointments. My agents, or agents will be like, oh, I don't have any business. Well, what did you do this weekend? Yeah, well, I went to dude, instead of hanging in your house, sit in an open house, market that open house, become that expert. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. So
no, that's good.
and then I do, again, everything should have, I have a McCann team hat. I have McCann on my back of my license plate. So I have to watch, I don't cut people off, but I have our iPads, my phone has, I can't see it right here. No, but anyway, I have these things that have McCann. So if you're sitting in a coffee shop and the back of your iPad has, Keller Williams, McCann, people will come up to you. We have t-shirts. So I'm more like that, meaning, and then like my son, he's 30 years old. He'll text a bunch of people say, you know what, I'm going to this beer garden, 5:30 to 6:30 on Thursday. Drinks are on me. Come on by. And 10 or 20 or 30 people will come. And you know what? Each person won't know each other, and they'll be fans of him and just talking about him and excites him. That's just one thing. We did a book signing the other day at the office. So just different events.
What was that? What was a book signing?
A book signing was someone we knew who wrote a book.
Oh.
It was a small little book. So we promoted that book, and we had probably about 30 people come here for the book signing. So the author was here. She told a story about the book. Just a unique thing.
That's a great idea. Really great idea. Let's see. We've just got a couple minutes left, but I really wanted you to hit on, let me look at my list. We talked about that. Okay. I really would love for you to talk about going into a shift listings, like actually focusing on listings And any tips, we have over 80% of agents have never been through a shift. So a lot of them haven't had price reduction conversations or days on market conversations or any of those that we've had who have those of us who have been through a shift. Will you just touch on that for a couple minutes and how you're focusing on listings?
Yeah, so it's funny. You have to be careful because you don't want to sound like negative Nilly. They'll have somebody that and they'll say, "Oh, I want to get 500." Oh, no problem at all. And the place is worth 400. And then I'm coming in, showing them the comp. So you have to be careful. The first thing that you want to do, to me, is someone calls me up. I want to sell my house. Hey, when are you typically available? Morning, afternoon, or evening? But okay, I'll schedule. Then I'll set the time up. And then I'll send them a thank you, and then I'll send them my marketing plan. Hey, look forward to meeting you Thursday, 3:00. I'll send them my marketing plan. Then I'll do the comps and I'll go there. And the first thing I do, I can spend an hour or two in a house because that's where I'm building my relationship. I do a one step most of the time, unless they're not ready. But so I'll go in and I just really, how you doing? Thanks for having me. Walk around, talk. Then I sit them down on the table and I just talk to them and get them to talk. So this business is not a business in the sense that it's an emotional business. Residential real estate, you can move mountains if people trust you, love you, respect you. And that's what, because you'll see some of the top agents in the world, technology or whatever, they're just good people connectors. So you connect with people. Then you do really, I try to under promise and over deliver. And I do go over the sales, ask them what they think. I go over the sales. I talk about low cost, high impact tips to improve the value. Let's declutter, blah, blah. I can help you with all. So you really have to just gain their confidence and their trust about your knowledge. And then you have to, what do you think it's worth? Because I'm asking that question now. I never used to ask that before. I know what Zillow was saying, so, and then I'll come back.
I love that script. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I do, again, there's so many different scripts. We probably don't have the time on it, but a lot of times it'll be like, like, oh, Zillow said this. I said, when did you have Zillow in here? And they'll be, oh, I didn't have Zillow in here. I said, Zillow can be off 20% either way. I am in here today. This is what I do. We'll get the commission objections in our marketplace, and I'll talk about, this person said they did this. I said, listen, people, if they want to give their commission away, if they don't want to get paid for their job, they're probably not going to care how much money they get for you. You use that. But pricing the house right now is, the market is different. We need to be the best looking, the best price home in the market. People don't want to do fix-ups. Yeah. And so we have to declutter, clean, and prep it. So under promise and over deliver. I know we're running out of time.
What is your best commission objection? Or you said you're getting a lot of those. I feel like more people are now.
Yes. We're 6%, but and if it's over $1 million, we're 5%, but it's 6% if it's under $1 million. Well, someone said, listen, but my commission objection is you could probably get somebody for 3%. You could probably go get Redfin to do it for 3.5%. You get what you pay for. What kind of car do you drive? Or a lot of times I'll say, so if you worked 3 months at your job and then your boss said, I'm only going to give you 80% of your pay, how would you feel? And if an agent's willing to only work for 80% of their pay for 3 months of work, how much are they going to care about your money if they don't care about their own money?
Love that one.
And so, I mean, that's one of them, but a lot of them are, you're going to get less and less committed. Where people say discount right now, I'm like, discount? You got to be kidding me. Many of my builders, they're offering bonuses right now because there's so few sales. They're actually offering 7%, a 1% bonus. I was going to tell you we should do that. No, they're like, oh, okay, So I'm doing a third party. I use a lot of analogies in my discussion, a lot of past experiences, or just analogies, so people can visualize that. But you have to build, this is a relationship business. That's all it's about. And one of my best lines, this is the best line that I always taught so many people is, Dana, whatever you want to do is fine with me. But if you were my daughter, my sister, this is what I would tell you to do. And then I, X, blah, 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 blah. So I'm defusing them. Whatever, Dana, whatever you want to do is fine with me. But if I were you, I'd price it at 500. I'd get it decluttered. We should probably paint this first floor and sand these floors, and I'll help you do that, Dana. I have great contractors. And then I will make sure you get best price. And you know what, Dana? The market will tell us what the price, how much it's worth. Not really me. I know you think I know, but I've been doing this so long that the one thing I know is that you never know. It's like the weather. It's sunny today. I could walk out tomorrow and it's raining. So I have to be prepared. I have to have an umbrella. So you just never know. But the one thing, Dana, you're only going to sell this property if you feel good about selling this property, because I will represent you and only you.
Everybody, I just posted in the chat, Mike, everybody needs to go back to the recording and fast forward to 1:58 and take that script and use it and write it down. It is so good. And didn't you guys feel like he was genuine when he said it? I mean, honestly, and that's a huge piece of it. I know we have, Mike, people are saying we need a U part 2, so I might have to have you come back. We have 1 minute. And one last question. How much time do you spend teaching your agents to strengthen their skills in this market? Or do you have a director of sales that does that?
So it's a combination of everything. Listen, I will clean the toilets. I will serve the food. Like it does, if I'm owning a restaurant, it doesn't matter. So I do everything. But we do have, they have to, I can't do it for them. That's why I say it's not a government job or it's not a handout. You have to learn how to do it. So I like to give them a tool, get them out, have them come back. You can't learn in a classroom. I do have some directors of agents that are supporting me growing the agents and coming up with programs. And we do, and that's fairly new to us in the last year. It's funny, 30% of the agents are engaged. The other 60% just want to do things they want to do the way that they want to do things, which is crazy. So the new people that are coming on are all in, but some of the 20-year agents are like, because they're making a go. They're fat, right? They're comfortable, and it's like they don't have to do anymore. So, and you know what? I'm not going to break their chops because they're great people, but the newer, younger people are the ones that are the people within the first 10 years are just embracing the change. So I am not going to kill myself. I want them to go out and do it and then come back and then do it. You can't do it for them. They can't learn it in the classroom, but I do. So I do, but we're consistent way more than ever, Dean. I will tell you that right now. 10 years ago, they came on my team. I threw them leads. They talked to me. We did voicemail, and that we didn't have any training programs. We go to an event a couple times a year and that was it. Now we're way more intentional. Keller's the best company in the history of the world, not just real estate. I'm telling you, because people dig in, people care. It's like all in the family. And I say that as a guy who fought Keller for 15 years and called it the Ponzi scheme, drinking the Kool-Aid. And now I am like, so my wife tells me I have a crush on Gary Keller because I respect him so much. But like we met, immediately, you're an awesome human being. It's unbelievable. And I'll be glad to come back. I really would love to come back.
I'll help. I'll do something for your office too. We'll share.
Okay.
This has been so great. Thank you so much, everybody. Yes, Dion said I have more motivation, so much more motivation today. Steve, very worthwhile. So Mike, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for being on. We'll send the recording out. And yeah, we'll have to have you back, Mike. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All the best. Thank you so much. I appreciate it too.
Have a blessed day. Thanks, guys.